people come here and they come to Ecovillage or come to the school and they get in tears and say, I've been dreaming about this, but I never thought it was possible. And when you feel like, oh, wow, it's possible that the kids learn in a school without teachers, without classrooms, without tests, without homework, and they learn. And saying, why we had to be sitting down and a lot of things move inside, and suddenly saying, wow, there is other ways of doing things.
All right, welcome back to another episode of Grow Your Grass Off. We have an amazing guest here today, Marcelo Valansi, who is he helped develop Ecovillage. If you've ever seen Down to Earth with Zac Efron, and that episode was fantastic. Got to see Ecovillage. I've lived there for a little while, got to see a lot of beautiful people there. Marcelo, we're really glad you're here.
Thank you for having me here.
So yeah, we just wanted to dive into some questions and try to, take a look deeper at this Ecovillage concept, because for me, it's been a passion really, to live in places that are intentional. And the idea of community is fun too. And there's definitely challenges, but, can you tell us a little bit about kind of what your experience has been developing some of these? Because I know you've got some new projects coming up, but, if we can speak specifically to Ecovillage and sort of what does it take to develop an Ecovillage, and what kind of things did you guys look at, especially because our channel is all about growing food, right? And so I helped out a little bit in the garden, and you have kind of the weekly pickup where people can get fresh food each week, which is awesome. But yeah, just speak about that a little bit if you can, about what does it take to really develop. I know there's so much effort that goes into that.
Sure. I mean, when you develop projects, first of all, it's like getting the idea what are you looking for, and it was, this idea has been developing since, for me, as a path in my life. I was born in Argentina, and I lived there until I was 17, 18, and then I left and traveled around the world. And I arrived to Costa Rica. I fell in love with the place, and with the weather, with many things about Costa Rica, that you can grow all year, no winter. You have and Argentina in 2001, it had a big economic collapse. And looking at it from far, because I was already living here, but having family there, it gave me a big perspective of the importance of, we give so much value to this piece of paper that we invented, and give him so much importance in our lives. And at the end of the day, the banks took the banks that were not from there, they took off with all the money. The banks were there, they closed because they didn't have enough money to give people. And it became really clear to me the importance of being able to grow your food, the being self-sufficient. And when I mean self-sufficient, I'm talking not only about food, but also having land, having water, having a shelter, and energy. And those are quite easy to achieve. And I live like that in the middle of nowhere. And I was like in this island, and I had 3 houses, and in my early 20s. And then I met who became my wife, and she was like, I want to be around art. I'm a dancer. I want to be near a city. So we moved from this Peter Pan land that I had into the suburbs of San Jose, and then we started talking about building a family and how important it was for us to find community and not being alone. And this is where the idea of Ecovillage came to be, and we were looking for land to build community and a multi-generational community. And most of the communities that I visit, they were quite rustic, like a lot of where they were completely outside the system in a way. And I feel, you know, I that if we really want to make a change, we cannot do it from outside the system. You need to enter the system and show, okay, this is what we could do, and do it better for people to move from the way that we are doing things into a new way, and not being that alternative out there that people do not take it seriously, or they go on a vacation or a small weekend, but not to live in a permanent basis. But how can we show that it's possible to live in harmony with nature, with each other, and with ourselves? And that was a little bit of the invitation that I made with Ecovillage. And that soon attracted 47 families from 29 different countries. And suddenly we had all these kids. And that what created the need of building a school, and as well thinking, how do we want to educate future generations? And we have that. So once you have the vision, it's quite easy, like looking for land that's been previously impacted and saying, okay, how can we regenerate this land? Starting with the soil, bringing the fertility to the soil, start planting thousands of trees. And once you have all this system, you restore the ecosystem, you start like having a food forest and grow your own food as much as possible. It's okay. What is next is how do we work on the social, in the invisible structures? That is the hard part in a community. How do we make decisions? How we prevent conflict? If conflict arises, how we solve it? And it's in all these things that we have this laboratory for more than 10 years of living together, 47 families, around 150, 180 people, more or less, with very different backgrounds, different ages, different nationalities, and being able to live in harmony with each other. That was a big thing of how do we achieve that. And I think we got it pretty good, and it's a very nice environment, and this gifting economy, and people offering their gifts, having women's circles, men's circles, and so on. And I don't think it's perfect, and I don't think perfect exists anywhere, but it's quite damn good in a way.
Yeah, totally. I'm with you there. And can you speak about, you know, maybe some of the challenges that you face? Because I know, you know, it's definitely, you know, people might go into the experience, just like you said, they might have these expectations of what it might be.
But the biggest challenge we have is quite, as you said, exactly that, is the expectations. People feel that because they're moving to an eco-village or to a new country or anything older, the things that carry on inside, traumas, experiences, or everything will go away. And that's not the reality. And the reality is that when you come and you don't have the distractions of the city, the lights, the entertainment, and all the things, you become, okay, I'm finding myself with this partner. We are one-to-one, face-to-face. There is nowhere to hide. And a community where you become more exposed, and so it's either you work and raise from there, or you sink. And as well, it's all the expectations of cases. Okay, we had a case, for example, of a woman that her father was maintaining her financially all her life, and she fight with her father and says, okay, with this money I have in savings, I'm going to go to this community, and this community is going to support me financially. And we are not a commune. Everybody has their own economy, and all these expectations that happens, and saying, okay, I'm part of the community. Now it's your responsibility to maintain me. And this is not the vision we have behind it. And so it's really like getting clear what you are getting into. And we have no guru, no dogma, it's an invitation to live in harmony with nature, in a more resilient and regenerative community. And as well, as far as growing food, we are in a rural area, and I feel it's so important that the communities they can integrate with the broader community, and seeing how you can support this local economy. And we had so many people around that they sell us eggs, chicken, ice cream, bread, and they come and deliver to the house, and it created this circular economy of really like how bringing a better lifestyle to all the people around it, and they feel we bring so much value into their lives, not only economically, but also in terms of knowledge, support, working together, and doing things as well with the broader community. We helped start a recycling program. We did a lot of reforestation project, the food forest park, and share seeds, share knowledge. And as well, we are right now building an orphanage for 90 kids and 60 a shelter for women that's been abused. And it's really like it's how you can have a more holistic approach to life. It's not only about farming, it's not only about regenerating the land, it's not only about personal growth or new age things, or how can you have this balance in your life between work and play and learning and doing that. So that's the invitation. And it became more and more clear during COVID how important that is in people's life, that people were in lockdown, and in the middle of the lockdown, these Netflix shows came up, and thousands of people around the world were watching this show, and we were getting messages from all over the world. Like, I want this, I want my kids to go to school without a mask, I want them to be in nature, I want to be, so all these things. And we have a super cool school. It's a very different kind of education. It's based in learning through playing, in non-directive education, prepare environments where kids investigate, experiment, and discover the world with their own hands, their own eyes, and not through the words of an adult, and continue with this industrialized education model that we all went through. So right now we are in a moment that, I went through a very hard personal moment for 7 years. My wife was dealing with cancer, and having, for me and for her and for the kids, having a community around during those times, it was life-changing. Having all that love, all that support constantly. And she died 3.5 years ago. But being able to go through an experience like this, it makes it so much better and so much easier. And she's still being remembered with so much love. And the kids kept hearing the stories about her mom and how much she helped them and how much they learned from her. That make it so clear for me, and saying, I don't know how long I have left in this world, but whatever time I have left, I want to be able to create more of these communities, to support, that the people have that consciousness, that awareness that there are other things in life that are more important. And this is the reminder that we have when you live in community, and that you're not an anonymous person and a number somewhere, but you're an actually human, and you pass from being this human doing to a human being. And this is the invitation we are doing. And when we have this, so I decided, like, I want to find more land that's been previously impacted, and we found a 600-acre property that we purchased, and we are regenerating and leaving 500 acres of forest and reserve, and that it will stay like this for many generations, because we are going to be the way we are setting it up legally, and everything is going to be protected, and 100% of the people would have to agree to change that. And the idea is that we are there to restore the ecosystem, protect it, and then we create these 6 villages in there. That's a new project we are working right now that is called Ecovillage San Mateo, that got all the experience of saying how important it is to have these communities between 40 to 60 families. That is a very good number to work with and create this intimacy and this connection and everything else. And at the same time, how can we have all the things that we felt were missing in Ecovillage from arts? So we created an art village, and the school, how can we grow it and make it available for more kids? And then we have the commercial center, where we want to have alternative medicine, holistic doctors, a holistic center, invite indigenous communities to come and share their knowledge about plants, about food production. And the first thing when you come into the property is this huge dome where we are going to be growing tons of food for the community, and in there having supermarkets, bulk supermarket, zero waste supermarkets, and restaurants, and coffee and bakery, and all the things that supports the villages and the villages around, and giving people the possibility of having a co-working area and creating this connection between them and starting businesses together, and really getting a new lifestyle. And as well, we have the Machuca River Park, that is all the river frontage. Instead of making it the most exclusive lots or anything, they became this 35-acre lineal park. Instead of being the normal square park, this is all along the river, with places to do picnics and running and walking and playing soccer and basketball and tennis and all these different sports areas. And and this is creating a container, and then the magic is brought by the community. Like we had people that came and approached us and said, we want to open a birthing center, and all these doulas and midwives that they can help give birth in nature. And we had a obstetrician gynecologist from Costa Rica that says, I would love to support this project and I can be there as a backup. So he says, okay, what do we need? And he says, oh, we need a surgery room, a septic that we can build it. And with that, we are good to go. I said, okay, yeah, that can be as well used from other professionals. So we can make it possible. So all this community start coming together with amazing people, that they hear the call and says, like we had Charles Einstein, a well-known writer, philosopher, that he wrote he bought a lot and he wrote an article and shared with that, and it started like as well, like attracting like-minded people from all over the world that are looking for an alternative. And it's truly this alternative, as I say, inside the system. And same thing with education. How can we get in and disrupt it and say, this become the main way of doing things, that developers start copying it and offering, because this is what people are asking for. Mm-hmm. And if we can continue to regenerate land, protect land, and creating small communities around the world, I think we would live in a much better world and we will live a much better world for our future generations.
That's awesome, Marcel. For me, I guess one question that's in the back of my mind is, what would you say? I mean, because you touched on a lot of great things in terms of, the successes that you saw in Ecovillage and how that translates to the new neighborhood. And so maybe can you speak to what is it that people really feel like draws them the most? What makes it so that these places are in high demand, in your opinion? Like, what are a couple things maybe that you feel are the most important? I mean, I could speak personally to my own situation and why we were gravitating toward that type of lifestyle, but what would you say from the people you've talked to? Why are they really interested in these new projects so much?
I would say that different people feel different draws, like as well, depending on the stage of their lives. Some younger families, they feel drawn because of the school, because of the food production, the resiliency part of being more resilient in case we don't know what's going to come, but having water, food, shelter, community, it gives you a much better way to be prepared to whatever comes, mm-hmm. than being on your own, or being a city that, if electricity doesn't come or we run out of gas, like you have nowhere to nowhere to grow your food, to get water, or use the elevator, or many things. So I feel that, we have elder people that they feel drawn as well, because having younger families and kids around, and they don't want to be in a nursing home, and being able, instead of being in this retirement home, they have the opportunity to have these multi-generational things and feel that their experience and everything, that it can be useful, and that they feel more life, more young. They join the parties, they join the events, and keep them much younger. So there are people that they can work from anywhere, and they said, why not doing it from this beautiful location in Costa Rica, because they enjoy the river and so on. And there as well, people that they do it because of their kids' safety, that they have the experience that they can go out on their own when they are very little and play in the streets and go to their friends' houses, and being able to have this thing that not everywhere around the world you could do that anymore. So I would say, like, some people, because of nature, because of food, because of water, because of all of it that I just mentioned, is what joined them. But everyone have their own things, and as well, you know, we are a community, but we are not a commune. So there are very good boundaries of what's communal and what is private, and everybody owns their own land where you can grow whatever you want. It's your garden. And then we share lots of spaces together, and there are a lot of offerings, but nobody is forced to. The only thing that we are forced to in La Ecovilla is that we have to pay a monthly fee to pay for the workers, the basket of food we get every week, water, maintenance of all the buildings, the yoga, rancho, pool, the roads, all the infrastructure. But all the other things, it's completely optional. And there in between, like inside couples, sometimes there are some people that are more social and the other one that is more ermitaños, in a way of like say, I don't want to see anybody. And this is a great, you know, having this, we are wired to live in tribes, in villages, in small villages for thousands and thousands of years. This thing of being these small families or this by ourselves, living somewhere, is something pretty new in human evolution. And when you think about it, like it's having the weight that the couple have right now of being the best friend, the confidant, the support, and this and that, like what a village used to provide right now, all that falls into this small family. So it's a lot of way to support. And in my opinion, that's why many couples end up breaking up. But when you have as well the support of a village, and that everybody have their own need and their needs met, and she can go with their friends and he can go with their friends and have the men's circles, women's circles all together, and let's party together, and everybody can choose. You go, I stay, I don't want to be seeing people, and the other person feels like it, and why can we both have what we need? And it's this opportunity of really connect with what we are feeling, and kind of putting a pause, saying the way we were going, it doesn't take us to good port. How can we take a pause and take a step, and how do we want to invest? And this is a living organism, because everybody brings ideas and brings their energy, and it just happened. There is no one that will tell you, no, you cannot do this in a way. If you want to bring your gifts and sharing with the community and your ideas and your things you want to implement, everything is there to support you.
It's great. You guys have any other questions on your mind?
How do the families come in and out, I guess, through the villa? If one family moves out, and is there a voting process for who moves in, or is it just kind of someone comes, they want to stay, or is there someone who decides, I guess? Is there a group of you, like a board?
We do not have any process like that in place. In Ecovilla, all the people that are in the sales team, they are people that they live in La Ecovilla, or they live in La Ecovilla and they will live in the new Ecovilla San Mateo. So this is something that they are kind of, in the moment they meet them, it's kind of a feeling how their energy, how it is. And many times they told me, like, Marcelo, this person, like, they're really a pain. And and I much rather not make any commission, but like just not sell them. So there we have a first filter when you have that feeling of the people doing. But as well, like, well, there are some people like Brandon and Ashley that they had the opportunity to come to Ecovilla, and sometimes some people are traveling or they go to their countries for a while and they rent their houses. So there are opportunities as well to find a house for rent and being able to be part of the community. So the way to get in is either rent, like doing house sitting, renting, or buying, or making friends with one and come and visit.
Yeah. Get in where you fit in.
Yeah. Do you want to highlight any more of your projects? Because I think you've got other things cooking too, right? In terms of what you might be expanding your idea even more beyond.
And right now we have we are focusing on Ecovilla San Mateo. We have another project that is called Ecovilla Cabo Blanco, that is between Santa Teresa and Montezuma, closer to the beach area. And we are actively looking for land in Costa Rica and other parts of the world. We are looking at some land in Patagonia, some land in Europe, in Sicily area, in France, Spain, and Portugal at the moment. And the idea is, how can we make these villages all around the world? And then as well, it's so nice if you live in one of these villages in Europe and want to come to Costa Rica and saying somebody there wants to come to Europe for 6 months or a year, and you have the schools, you have all the things, and having community and education and everything else, and it's part of the lifestyle and the international experience we want to do as well. Because in the moment that we have people that are great friends or family from other parts of the world, when you hear a news about India or Pakistan or Israel or Argentina or Brazil or any country, it's not that thing out there. It's someone like, you feel it in a very different way. It's not like, and really making the world one place, and to stop with these divisions, these imaginary boundaries or walls that we create, and really focus on creating a more love, more light, more consciousness, more food, more green, and restoring the ecosystems instead of destroying.
Yeah, I like that mentality, because it's like you're going to act locally by developing these things, and you get a lot of feedback and you can improve it, but yet, you know, you're thinking globally and how there's a fabric, you know, that connects us all. So I think that's awesome way to look at it.
Exactly.
Well, yeah. Thanks so much, Marcelo. Is there anything else you guys want to touch on?
I just wanted to say I appreciate your time. It's inspirational. Definitely thought about it in a comprehensive manner. Someone who's, you know, loves growing food, loves being outside, who's delivered 2 out of 4 of my children. And, you know, I can see you've thought about everything, and it's very inspiring. And I want to move somewhere like this myself.
Me too. Me
Sure,
too.
Yeah, I mean, what we really want to create is amazing models that people can come, get inspired, and create their own, with their own flavor, their own taste. And how can we make it that that's what people feel drawn to. And many times people come here and they come to Ecovillage or come to the school and they get in tears and say, I've been dreaming about this, but I never thought it was possible. And when you feel like, oh, wow, it's possible that the kids learn in a school without teachers, without classrooms, without tests, without homework, and they learn. And saying, why we had to be sitting down, and a lot of things move inside, and suddenly saying, wow, there is other ways of doing things. And it's that's where we want to wake up, in that thing to dream and make it a reality. And the idea is that we are documenting everything to give an open source thing that we can share with all the information on how to work with the invisible structures, what things we do with the visible structures as well, permaculture, plants that grow well in the certain areas, and we have biologists, agroforestry, permaculture experts that are part of the project, and it's really a team effort. And the first project was a one-man show, and I did pretty much everything, and now we have an amazing team that brings so much to the table. So I feel like it's much richer. And you said, like, everybody brings their ideas and it keeps growing and getting better and better.
Well, that's awesome. We'll have to just keep tabs on it. And I think it kind of always pulls me back, just obviously having some people there that I really, enjoy as friends and so on but for me, there's a fascination about it too, like you're saying, where, there's learning that still happens, and there's a way to continue to update, the process that's going on. So thanks for doing that work and carrying the torch, so to speak.
With pleasure, guys. Thank you for having me here and sharing.
Thanks.
Have a wonderful day.
Thanks, Marcelo.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye.